something clicked in my brain recently. Maybe it was during a bout of mania. Maybe it was the end of a relationship. Maybe it was changing life circumstances. But right now, the only thing I want to do, aside from, I guess, the other shit I need to be doing, the main thing I want to do is to just turn myself into, just go completely ape shit in the gym and doing physical activity until I am like shredded or just like super in shape, for aesthetics maybe, but mainly just to like, I don't know, just to like go, just to fucking go, which feels interesting because I haven't felt that in a long time. I grew up playing sports. In sports, you kind of just have to have a mandatory feeling of competition. You're trying to win. You're trying to run the fastest, lift the most weight, jump the furthest, catch the most passes, whatever, whatever. And there's a simplicity to that, and there's like a beauty to that simplicity of like, okay, you're lifting weights. You have to move this weight off the ground or else you fail. You've failed. You didn't make it. So lower the weight a little bit and train harder, and then you can get it, and then you'll have succeeded. The simplicity of that, like for me, I think for many people, I dare say a lot of young men specifically, this kind of like achievement oriented mindset, it clicks really well. And I think, I played football in middle school and high school. I played lacrosse in middle school and high school. I played football in college for a year. I redshirted and then I quit. But it was a Division II school, Simon Fraser University, the worst NCAA university in the NCAA, and also the only one in Canada. So shout out Simon Fraser University. But just the pure competitive elements of that, I think after I was done, I kind of turned away from all things sport and wanted to focus on art and things like that. And right now, having done that for, I guess it's like, it'd be like 6 or 7 years now. I've just recently clicked back into like, okay, let's just, I hate to use the phrase because it's a bit overused, but lock the fuck in and just go to the gym, move some weight around, get back familiar with, watch my Jeff Nippard, watch my Sam Sulek for different perspectives on the world of weightlifting. But then also, I think there's a lot of other reasons to it aside from just wanting to go crazy. I think the baseline health reasons are, I like, in the thumbnail it'll probably be 2 photos of me, one when I was, younger and in really good shape, and one when I gained a lot of weight. The feeling of like, you don't really know what that feels like until you've been on the other side of like walking up a set of stairs, like whoops your ass, versus I've never had good cardio health. And so that's like, even in high school I was a sprinter. So when I did track, I was a sprinter, and when I did football, I was a slot receiver, so I was sprinting all the time. But I kind of notoriously, or for myself, had bad cardio to the point where I'd be like, kind of, what is it, gassed? Yeah, it's been so fucking long since I've thought about sports. Gassed in like training and mainly in games was the big problem, because if you have like a big game, you can't late in the fourth quarter be like slowing down because you're tired. You have to be going all out the whole time, and I just never trained my cardio well enough to where I would feel comfortable. And so that's kind of like a little personal hurdle I want to overcome. The last few nights I've been doing these cardio streams, which have been cool. The goal is to just keep doing them, because may as well, if I'm gonna be doing the cardio at the same time, may as well make content off of it. But also it's fun. I've always been so bad at it because it's such an unsexy experience. Getting on a fucking treadmill or going on a walk and stuff is great, but like it's unsexy when you're in bed and comfortable to get up and do that. And I don't know, I don't want to be professing a self-help message, but it's like, if you can just click it in your brain to somehow do that, and if I can just, every time I do it, talk about it on here, and if that can offer 1% of a shred of an example of something to do for you that will help improve your health, then that's kind of like the direction I want to go with these types of videos, at least. And this is the first in, a series of podcasts. I might do guests and things like that, but I'm 26 and I feel old. I know for older people watching, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? For younger people watching, they're like, yeah, I mean, you got a point. That's just how time is, I guess. But it's this window of time, like, I don't know, I probably right around 30 want to start thinking about potentially like pursuing a serious relationship to have kids, maybe before. But being a dad and spending, like, making sure I have time to prioritize family and at the same time prioritize like the things I want to achieve in life, which right now I'm not really sure what, like, for the foreseeable future. I just want to get back in touch with the artistic element of video work and really enjoy it more. And then, financial stability is also a big part of that. But like juggling those things and also trying to stay in shape and healthy, I think starting out that process then is a lot harder than doing it like right now when I'm just kind of fucking around a bunch. And admittedly, I have a lot more free time than most people because I just do this bullshit. And like today, or I guess yesterday, was one of the days where I had stuff I wanted to do with work, and then instead I just went to the gym and then kind of laid down after that, went and did cardio, and then didn't really do anything during the day. It's just days like those I'm going to try and like cut out and rework. And because I understand that that's not like a normal thing to be able to do in terms of normal productivity. And when I say normal, I just mean what most people experience, like work wise. That's like it's probably more efficient to model my day closer to that, even if I don't want to. Just that lack of structure is really harmful for me, personally speaking. But yeah, lifting and cardio. Those are the two things. Leading into, I guess, the cardio leading into hiking and things, outdoor activities. I went on a hike 2 days ago. Yesterday, I mean. It was fucking beautiful. It was so nice. So good. Went for like 7 miles. Took about 3 hours. This is the first hike I went on. It's the first time I've been on one in a while, but the first one I've went on where I wasn't, for a good amount of the time wanting to be done. Like looking just like, I can't wait to be at the end, get in the car and go home. And I felt that, strangely enough, I've never even really noticed that until this hike, that something about it is I think when you lack the context of knowing what it is to be enjoying the outdoors, like I grew up doing that shit, and I think taking a lot of time to not be engaged with that between the periods of when you're doing it as you're younger and you're taking it for granted to now, some combination of that, as well as I learned, this feels so stupid to even say, but I learned while I was on this hike that you don't have to look at the ground the whole time. Like I'm always looking at the ground because I don't want to trip, so I look at the dirt and I'm like, oh, there's a rock there, oh, there's whatever. And then usually it's when I stop, when I look around and check out the trees and shit, it's beautiful. Smell the air. The whole time you get to smell the air, but in terms of actually looking at it and experiencing it, I've never done that until this hike, which sounds fucking insane because the whole point to going out is to experience it, the nature, the trees, the brushes, the animals. Saw a squirrel, saw a snail, saw all sorts of birds. But that was only because I was looking up, like looking at a destination point and walking. And there's this weird experience where it looks like everything's bouncing, which is the normal thing you have when you're looking at something and walking towards it. But I guess I must have tripped one time while hiking, and ever since then, just looked at the ground. And so this, like, I have to be the only person on the planet that it has hiked that way. Surely, unless some of you have. Please let me know. Please, I hope I'm not alone, but I think I am. And actually looking at the nature made it a lot more enjoyable. It made it a lot more tolerable than, hiking for a long ass time, stopping and then looking at the nature. Because that shit's great when you stop and look. But then you got to hike again. And then you're looking at the roots and the rocks and stuff. Admittedly, some hikes are more difficult than others to where you need to be looking at the ground. But still, this was not Everest. This was the Green River. We were chilling. And so that's something that kind of goes along with the overall health and fitness, is just like constantly be doing something, because when I got done with that, like I was tired as fuck. I got in the car, had a little PB&J, just breathed and was like, fuck, that was like awesome. And for the whole time I was like, this is, I don't know, you just don't, you touching grass, man. There's nothing like it. I'm such a fucking internet person. I think that's like in future relationships, something that I am going to need to like really pay attention to and watch and lock into, is my tendency to like hermit crab and be online and just fuck off from the world. I think it's unhealthy. Surprise, surprise. The thing that I've known the whole time was unhealthy, like an unhealthy amount of exposure to just the internet and the ways of communication the way we gather information on like Twitter. You read a tweet, someone saying some funny shit, or someone saying some wild shit, or someone saying some deeply personal, empathetic, or just powerful political shit. And that's, it's good, but it's also very bad because it's not like you're talking to people. Same thing with YouTube. Watching YouTube videos is not like talking to a person. You don't get feedback. You don't get to understand the nuances of a social situation, and that should be obvious. But for people that are just, since COVID or since whenever on the internet 24/7, it's not. I'm one of those people. So, Mom, I just want to get shit tightened down in my life. And there's a certain anxiety that comes with a lack of control over your time, over the physical realm of like being able to pick shit up, throw shit around, wrestle a bear. That man versus bear, Bear Grylls shit, and then the man versus the bear in the woods. Who'd you rather encounter? If I'm the one being asked, I'll take the bear, or I'll take a man that's built like a bear, and then we'll wrestle. Not right now because I'm out of shape, but when I'm like back in tip-top shape, that's the goal. They say not to share your goals with people as you're doing them. Like today's day 4 of going to the gym for me. I fully understand why that is the case, but right now I'm just like, fuck it. Like I do videos. Let's just talk about it as it happens. There's no point in like holding it accountable. It's more so like, all right, this is, well, I guess it could be, it's like an accountability thing because I'm just doing some shit every day. Then if I let y'all know it's been a week since I've done shit, you can be like, hey, this was your goal. Go freak mode physically. In terms of that grit my teeth and just do the bullshit type of energy, I'm noticing it mostly when I'm doing like cardio. I'll be just at a really difficult point where I know I want to slow down, but then it's just like a wire, like a misfiring neuron in my brain that's like, just fucking keep going. You're being a little baby right now. You want to stop and you're tired. You don't need to stop. Your body isn't telling you like red button emergency stop. It's just telling you, well, it'd be nice if you just slowed down a little bit. You don't need to have a mental coach, verbally abusive mental coach in your mind to get in shape. I don't actually recommend it. But I think that's probably just a product of like sports brain and training brain and like being put in situations where you're kind of getting yelled. Like it's not verbal abuse, a coach yelling at you to go harder. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when you're doing it to yourself, it's like it's a weird feeling, but it works. And like that voice has been speaking to me through my subconscious, some like amalgamation of all my old coaches and people that were pushing me and like teammates and things. And it's kind of cool, but it's also, no, it's cool. It's just cool. Like I love it right now. Another weird thing that popped into my mind. This is another thing that's kind of embarrassing, but I was hiking and I was checking my heart rate. It was like pretty high. We're going up a hill and I started getting these visions that I used to have as a young kid of like when I was doing something physically strenuous where I needed to like really push through it and just kind of like activate lizard brain and like sprint or like lift or just like go. I would picture myself getting the Iron Man hands with like blasters on them, like metal. Oh no, it was Metroid. That was one of them. Metroid arms, like Samus arms, where I'm like going beast mode to the point where my arms are like lighting up and shooting lasers out of them, and that's helping me like move forward. Or Halo energy sword in the hands, like I'm like sprinting and like I'm picturing like young kid shit. Never felt this after probably age 15 maybe. I don't know for what reason it stopped, but like the first time I've felt that since then, like this, like I'm going so hard that I'm literally picturing Halo weapons in my hands that are like bursting with energy and like wanting to slice through whatever's in front of me and like make it explode. That happened to me while I was on this hike. Don't even know how to describe it. That's one of the things that made me want to be like, I need to just fucking yap about this physical activity shit because it feels metaphysical. Like it feels like we're going to a different realm because it was a flashback to, old memories of like bizarre endorphin situation. Like if you maybe you have some shit like that where like if you're trying to get something done, you have to like pull in the imaginary world, get freaky with your sort of thoughts and visualizations of reality in order to make it through. There's got to be some, part of that's like some BPD shit as I understand it on the receiving end of the experience. Feels good though. Every night getting in bed with my ass whooped. Like right now, what time is it? It's 11:51 p.m. I've been going to bed late, so that to me isn't a crazy number. I'm gonna quit recording this, chop it up, upload it, schedule it, and then I'm gonna go do the cardio thing, and I'm excited to do that. And that's a very unique thing. If that is happening, that is an extremely good sign. That is potentially extremely fleeting. Like I have to take advantage of that, and I have to keep it going as much as I can because I know how hard it is to do that. And the biggest thing to start out with that, I think, was just setting up the circumstances, like making it so that there's this thing you can do, and it's not gonna kill you. Like it's gonna be something you can do and feel semi comfortable with. Although you're exerting your body, depending on what speed you're going, like you can go as low as you want, as long as it's more than usual, and as long as you can feel it's pushing your body somewhat. You just do that and make it so that it's like accessible, comfortable, and possible. Comfortable in the sense that it's like slightly less comfortable than fully comfortable, like laying in bed. Maybe slightly is like depending on how out of shape you are, like it could really fuck you up, like walking up a hill or even just walking. But whatever it can be to get to that position, to make it like, okay, this is something manageable. Like this is something I can do every day, every other day. Obviously having a treadmill, like my mom's coworker gave her a treadmill, so we set it up, or they set it up, and then I like that's where I've been staying. But that's like super a blessing to have. And like a lot of people were saying like, oh, I much prefer to walk outside. There you go, just do that. Like, barring multiple constraints, and just like little shit, even if it's just for a little bit, because the more you do it, you might stop wanting to do it, because that's just how it happens, I think. But like, don't you feel better when you go on that long ass walk, or when you just go on the walk and smell the breeze and the trees and the birds and the bees and the flowers? When you stop to smell the flowers for real? I was out in the yard playing with the cats, just sitting in the grass, watching the flowers and the breeze and the trees. I'm not trying to like rhyme right now. It was like there was that tall grass kind of spinning. Sunshine. It's part of why I want to stay in Washington for not just a month, but maybe for more, because in the summer it's fucking beautiful here, man. Just the freshest air, the cleanest water. I live in an area that's like something to do with the springs in the thing, where it's like there's like rural farmland that creates some of the cleanest water in the state, and Washington State already has some clean ass water, and it's literally like recharging my soul battery of like just drinking from the tap. I drank from the tap in Echo Park, LA, just right by downtown, and I mean I don't know, it seemed fine. I googled it, they said you can do that. I don't really think you're supposed to, but like, even though the taste is like incredible here, but also just the feeling of when I drink it, it's like replenishing my molecules in a way that nothing else does. That's kind of a sidebar conversation. Sorry to flex on y'all about the water quality. It's just kind of fucked up here how lucky it is that I get to live here. This could be potentially like an arc of reconnecting with just like the traditional masculinity periods of my life, where I've been like just fucking grind, win, sport, throw, catch, run, lift, throw ball in hoop, like ooga booga shit. I don't know. It's been a while. It's definitely been a while. I've been focused on other shit, but like it all came flowing back to me. Like I touched a sacred orb that gave me I drank the water of life. That was that shit's called. The water. It was just Gatorade though. That shit looked like Gatorade in Dune. Gatorade goop. I drank that shit and it flashed back all the times where I was doing 1v1s playing receiver and we got to be physical. So I'd smack the shit out of just like be physical to the point where the person couldn't run the route. I was a terrible defender, but sometimes like you just pull up and play like man press on him, and then you just like out of like unexpectedly, not in a way where you're cheating, but just like unexpectedly be super physical and fuck up their route running, or the opposite of like running a route, cutting and like head faking and cutting so well that like they fall over and shit. There's no footage of this. Maybe there's footage of it somewhere. I don't know. But that feeling of like just pure domination, you don't really get that anywhere else in life other than sports, in my experience. To a certain extent, I think that like competition stuff, I think we need that. going to the Y and playing basketball, there's just something very. I suck ass at basketball, and I'm out, and like I have bad cardio, so I never loved basketball. I like the team aspect of it, like just going to the Y and playing with friends, like that's fun. But actually, like really putting everything in it to try to win. When I played indoor soccer with friends, that was kind of like it was a step up from like YMCA basketball for sure. And I never played soccer. I think I'll probably try to get my kids to play soccer, maybe football as well. Football kind of fucked up my head a little bit. Like I got a couple concussions, and I don't think I have CTE, but I think I got something, a little bit of something else. I do have bipolar, so like some other acronym, sprinkle it in there. I don't want my kids to go through that. If they want to play football though, they'll do their shit. They'll play football. As far as will my kids be good at sports, I suppose it depends. You know, I am kind of min-maxing on in terms of the types of like people I'm attracted to. Like I'm attracted to tall girls and I'm attracted to short girls. And so if it's a short girl and hopefully they played sports or have some sports background, if it's a tall girl, that should be good enough. Kind of a combo because I was like, you know, I'm 5'10", so I'm like basically average, slightly above average height. But I was like fast. I like ran and lifted. And so if we could combine that same athleticism with someone that is like has a more athletic frame, that'd be ideal. Not doing eugenics here. I'm just saying, you know, that's the way it is. I actually don't know how it is because a lot of like athletes have like really little wives, like NBA players and shit. And the kids always turn out, you know, pretty solid. So, but I didn't play in the NBA, so who knows? There's another thing related to this like reconnection with sport and competition that I've thought about a little bit more lately which was when I stopped playing sports, along with like distancing myself with the actual athletics piece of it. I think there was a social distance, not COVID related, just a need to like have a layer of irony thinking about the things that I just did. I don't know how to describe this. We're going therapy mode here, but basically like entering spaces that are more artistic. It's kind of like you look at sports, people who enjoy sports as like lower level life forms. That's so cringe. You know, I'm 19, right? So I'm just being a dumbass. But like the vibe you surmise a lot of times is comparing people that do shit that you find interesting to people that do shit that you find basic. Like the basic premise of my social environment was sports and enjoying sports and watching the game on Sundays. And so if I find something that I find more intriguing and creative elsewhere, it doesn't have to happen this way, but it happened for some whatever reason, I was probably watching a lot of like Chapo and shit, or like just irony Twitter stuff where it's like everything has to be, you have to make fun of it and it has to be cringe, and it has to be like if a lot of people like it, you aren't supposed to like it. You have to be contrarian. And I mean, it's whatever. It's just like probably a phase everyone goes through. But my relationship with the things that I used to really love and be a part of was distorted to the point that like it was only recently that like I was working out and watching Marshawn Lynch highlights. Marshawn Lynch from the Seattle Seahawks, playing football, getting flashbacks to like being in Seattle and a Seahawks fan when they won the Super Bowl. And around those years, like back in my day, during my years in high school, they were like so fucking good and also like so fun to watch. Like the storylines, the Legion of Boom, the defense that just fucked on, just like broke helmets and shit. Marshawn Lynch, like the Beast Quake, you know, like the fucking sickest run in NFL history. One of them, probably not the sickest. Okay, camera broke. Camera died. Sorry, we're switching it up. I'll have this set up better right now. It's really janky. I'm just like plopping my laptop down and starting recording and seeing if we can make it. Okay. Football, sports as a thing that, you know, it goes so much further beyond the irony poisoned brain of a 19-year-old youth. There's a lot of things at the time, I think, thoughts that developed that never were challenged. And so the other day watching these sports highlights and reconnecting with that period of my life, and then like I don't know, I googled why do people like sports, and then I found on that Google search that there's like a communal aspect to, and the ritualistic element of like watching games and kicking it, going to events, going to games, competing with one another, having like, familial bonds with people that are competing. I sound like a robot, but like all of this stuff isn't something you think about when you're just playing sports and you're at the game. It's just like what you do. And then disconnecting from that and distancing from it in a way that's not like healthy. It's not like, okay, like I love this thing. I mean, that's how it was when I quit. I definitely was like, I'm now having weird reconnecting flashbacks between ending my last relationship and quitting football. That's bizarre. Let's take that one to therapist. Just that I felt like it was the right decision at the time, and I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, I was seeing people around me get pounded really hard, and as much fun as it would be, I was like on a half scholarship as well, as like good as that would have been. I just didn't want to, and I think that ultimately is like the decision that matters most, if you just kind of follow your gut. But the disconnect, although it might have been healthy at the time, over time grew to be an unhealthy place to where I'm now like, oh, like I remember why that was so important to everyone in my life and myself, and how like no one should be looked down upon for things that bring people together. It's just like shitty to like hate on that or look upon it with any sort of scorn or ironic distance or feeling of superiority, when it's just like that meme of a guy that's like, you are so cringe and lame, you have no idea how stupid you look, and then the guy's just like cool guy, he has glasses and he's whistling and walking down the street. It's just that, like, that's the irony poisoning that develops, creates these like very antisocial sort of thought patterns. And it's not like I wasn't like watching sports and enjoying them during that time, because I would like watch soccer games and stuff with my friends and play with them. That's kind of like the shift that it took. But whatever feeling I needed to escape from, I think the baby was thrown out with the bathwater in that regard. And yeah, I don't know. That's just part of the whole trying to get back into shape arc, is realizing like a lot of that shit is really cool. There's a lot of like the natural human experience of competition, of like pushing your body beyond its limits, or to its limits. I guess beyond. Well, no, I guess because if your body has a limit that gets pushed over time, but you don't ever push beyond the limit, because the body has a limit that you can't push beyond, because that's the definition of limit. So grind set debunked. The nice thing about just doing it like an hour plus of cardio each day is you can kind of just fucking eat. Like you should eat healthy. You just need protein. That's the main thing. Protein to recover, and lots of water. But for lifting, if you're lifting and then also doing cardio, you'll be good. Just chow, basically. I mean, to within a certain degree. Living at home right now, it's like a super good opportunity, it feels like, for me to reset and have delicious meals. My parents are my mom and my stepdad cook such good fucking food. It's crazy. And I know they're like playing it up right now to try and keep me here, to keep me from moving back to LA, because they're cooking. They're cooking while they're cooking every day. It's like literally so fucked up. Like there's beef stroganoff in the fridge, or it's like Austrian stroganoff that they just cooked it tonight. I'm like, fuck, man. The last thing maybe to talk about would be like body image stuff, where I'm like, yeah, I want to look better. Like that is established in my mind that I want to look better. Like it feels fucking sick while I'm going really hard. A part of that is literally like, while your muscles are pumped up from, lifting weights, you look in the mirror and you see that your muscles are pumped up and you look more muscular, and you're like, that's sick. Let's just keep doing that until it looks even more like that. And that's just what happens. I think tapping into the opposite end of it, of being like, yeah, dude, this feels sick. This is sick. I know for a fact, just for my health and wellness, or my mental health, I just need to keep doing this or else I'm going to go insane, has led me to the point where I'm like, just go hard, just fucking go hard, just go hard, just go hard. And because that's like the thing, I'm like, just don't stop, like ride this out. And I know a lot of you think I'm hypomanic and manic, and maybe I am a little bit, but I mean, I feel like I've been relatively stable. My sleep schedule's crazy, but that's just the way it's always kind of been. But riding that out makes it so that like every few days I just check in. I'm like, oh, I like feel like I look a little better today. That's sick. But it's not like every time, like I'll just catch myself in the mirror, as opposed to like, I think before a lot of times I'd like work out You could do a pump check, of course, but then like the next day you like check in the mirror to see if you are like looking skinnier or looking more muscular, and that's just like not helpful because you don't. It's the differences are not noticeable day to day, but they are over like a longer period of time. And in order to make it through that period of time, you can't be daily being disappointed by the lack of visible progress because it's not going to be there. And that's a fun thing to discover. Usually, you discover it by like quitting physical activity for a year. Great time, great times. Yeah, post COVID, fuck, I don't even remember what even happened. It was just a crazy combination of like my work being video editing, meaning that I could be a freak, sleep schedule wise, deadline wise, working with people that were like really nice and understanding to the point of like bad business practice. They're like, yeah, you're good. God bless them. But at the same time, fuck them for enabling my bad behaviors, my naughty boy behaviors. I think that's part of what I'm discovering is that like missing link, that missing connection to a healthy relationship with like physical fitness, competition, activity, and how that's been throughout my life. There's definitely some like weird repressed shit when it comes to like sports and competing that like got to be sorted out with a therapist. I used ChatGPT for therapy the other day. It kind of fucked me up. I might have mentioned this in the last video. Maybe I mentioned it during a stream, but don't do that if you're figuring stuff out related to a breakup. I really need a creative outlet that isn't just one big video essay plopped down each month, because I feel like I'm not at the level of being able to make those to where I can do it without feedback and without having conversations and trying to work through my thought processes in a somewhat public setting, at least with other people. So I think that's the direction that this will go. We'll see. But this bonus episode and then the one that it correlates to on the main channel were about like something that isn't related to like content and creativity necessarily, more like physical self-help type stuff. But for those, I think it's helpful and I need it, so that's what I'm gonna do in those times. But yeah, this one's about self-help related, physical related stuff. I was gonna think about like stories from the weight room, from like lifting. Not even, there's no specific stories I can think of right now. Early on in your first couple years where you're like a freshman and a sophomore, there's like huge people all around you that are scary. And even in your own grade, there's people that are huge. But there's the older guys are like literally like essentially gods, legends of the sports world. And that's like the socialized area that like there's a hierarchy. And in some sense, there's a literal hierarchy, as in the list of players who's starting. If you make it to a starting spot, that's you're the top of the hierarchy. And when you're first coming in, most of the people that you're playing with at the top of the hierarchy are just the oldest guys or like the most talented. And so there's a certain level of it's a social situation that, as soon as you get in the weight room, not only are the top guys like you're like, oh, I want to be like that person because they're really fucking good at like running routes or catching passes or returning punts, and like, oh, when I was like a middle schooler, I watched this person and like I could wear their jersey next year and like blah 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 blah. And then you're in the weight room, it just manifests as like being like you have your like group of like friends, or like for me it was like the receiver group. That's what I played. So you like just get to know that group, and you kind of go through that social anxiety of intimidation of being like, oh, this dude just that anxiety, I guess. You go through it together with other people that are little baby boys like you. That's like a super valuable experience. As you get older, you gain the experience of like feeling more comfortable, feeling more secure, feeling like your skills have improved, your fitness have improved, your body has just grown because you're literally a baby. I remember my first day going to get pads, football pads, like the check-in, I think it's in like spring of freshman year of football. Or like early summer, I guess. I was a little baby guy, but I was also nursing. I had a knee surgery. Like I had literally a thing on my knee from getting surgery while going to get pads for the first day. And so there was kind of this, it's a very unfamiliar feeling. It's a very scary feeling. It's the great unknown, but also an excited feeling, because I think for me, like youth football, I was like super hyped about it. Like I developed early, so I was like really good throughout middle school, and I like grew to be like essentially the same height and speed, like give or take a few inches and a few, point 1, probably point 4 on the 40-yard dash early on. And so I was like beating the shit out of kids in middle school. So I think I was like super like, yeah, let's go. I want to play high school. And that's kind of just what happened. I went and played. Damn, I'm having all these flashbacks to sports. I just got to play my huddle reel or something on my own time, not bog you all down with that. There's a point I wanted to get to with this that I think had to do with like community or something. I think environment is like, it's such a unique environment. Every day you're there for hours and hours on end, working towards the same goals, trying to hit the same PRs, helping each other reach those goals, fighting each other when tensions get high, because like you're pushing just everything about you're pushing to the limits to try and like be the best and win and impress the coaches. Honestly, like there's a lot of weird psychology going on with that. Like I would love to say it's as simple as like catch ball and run and then do it again, because that's what it looks like on paper and on the screen if you're watching football. But for me, it was like catch ball and run, and if I get a lot of yards, feel good about myself. And then if I do that again, but I drop the ball, feel very, very bad about myself, to the point where I have to bang my hands on my helmet and like bruise my knuckles, and just not, and like the next time I go to catch a pass, I drop it because I'm thinking about the last drop. Weird psychological shit, man. That's pretty normal, I think. I don't know if everyone, I gotta talk to my old teammates about that, because we all have something like that. I think for me, I always like let it linger a little too long. Like I'd be like really upset with myself and having to get talked down to be like, dude, you gotta chill, or even be upset to the point where I'm like lashing out at people because I'm like, fuck, like just tripping. That happens to some people. I'm trying to think if there was any of my teammates that happened to. I think probably that on its own is a thing that, like, in a community of people you're trying to accomplish a shared goal with, it doesn't really fly. Like, it can happen, but it's something you have to work out. And if you can't work it out, then you will be put in timeout in separate space, or just benched, you know, if you're like a hothead that can't control your emotions. You're talking shit to a ref, you get a flag, it fucks up the whole it fucks up the whole goal, the one goal that you have as a football team, which is to win. Like on paper, that's the one goal. We spent a lot of time talking about like brotherhood and camaraderie and support and pushing each other, and goals being like leadership and things. And I think those are all pretty true. Like we all strive to do those things. Like we would go to these camps and do like all sorts of, you know, team bonding shit. We go watch a movie. We went to these like overnight camps. Fuck, those were so fun. Just like going to Evergreen College. It's so funny we went to that, because like a bunch of, it's like the most liberal college. It's probably most leftist. Like it's a very the most progressive university probably in the world. And it was just me and a bunch of meatheads all like smacking heads. It was like 10 or 15 teams from like the area. And it was very competitive. Like there was this thing we did called the Ludus, which was like each team at the end of like a long ass practice day would go to the like 5-yard line, just the end of the field, and do like this fully heads up, like 1v1 fucking get shit on kid, 360 no scope, like smack heads, get the ball over the line, do trick plays, do crazy shit. And while it's happening on the field, all the other teams are like lined up around the end zone, like going ape shit, just going like, wow, like fucking, if you score, if a big hit happens, people are running onto the field and like fucking with you they're not even a part of the drill. It's just that like intense stuff. Like that is a team building exercise on its own, to not like freak out if someone's jumps on you that's not supposed to be there, or if you drop a pass and get clowned on, not like lash out, or just catch the pass in the first place. Because if you do, it's like not just catching a pass, it's your entire support system believing in you and leaning on you to succeed in this way. And if you fail, like if it's a you know, bad support system, if you fail, to be like shamed and shit on. But if it's a good support system, which is what I feel like we had, it's just like it's not that deep. Like it's deep. You want to catch the fucking ball, and if you catch a wide open pass, I think people will be like, yeah, I don't trust that guy as much as I might have if he had caught that type stuff. But at the same time, it's like most of the time, I mean, we were good, so it was like shit like that would be super fun. We wouldn't be getting smacked around. We'd be like winning. And I think it would be different if I probably would have a different election experience. Just rambling at this point. Sports, though. This is a deep dive into the sports lore. The Noah Lore Podcast, the bonus episode TMG style. I forget all the time, but if you ever watch TMG, the TMG podcast, I did their intro. I made that. And I always forget to, I don't know if I forget who I would need to be telling that, but I just think that's like, I'll like pop in and check out what they're talking about sometimes. Be like, oh shit, that's right. I was a video editor. And I kind of hate that intro because it's so long. And like, I skip it every time, even though I think that shit's fire. And a lot of it is just repurposed footage from Alien and other sci-fi movies that I did put through some cool filters. But still. Okay, is this enough for a second episode? I guess we'll find out. If it wasn't, because my camera's about to explode. If it wasn't, let me know. And we'll take care of it. We'll figure it out. If it was, cool. Anyways, thanks for watching. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Bye.